In the elementary, this week we're having the English language arts testing going on starting tomorrow, and next week is math. And that's about what we're doing in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we've had a couple of meetings, one meeting for sure, about the math curriculum for next year and getting people going on that, so that we're coming up with looking at different assessments that would be part of the deal next year, but we have to work on deciding that. We're also working on RTI. We're also working on finding an assessment for ELA that everybody can be happy with. So there's a lot going on. I'm finding out a lot every day.
Question for you on the testing going on. Being that we just got back from break and the kids, does that have an impact on the way they test? Keeping them kind of focused on these are quite long tests, aren't they?
Of course not.
I can tell you that the teachers today, I met with the junior high teachers, and they said it was a really tough day today.
Just
to work
imagine.
with the kids, that the weather is beautiful, the last thing they wanted to be back in school, and Marcia was talking about the activities she was done just to get the brains functioning again, mind games, mazes, and just anything to get them going again mentally. So that's.
From an academic perspective, on your experience, does it have an impact on the results of the test, you think?
Last year we didn't have it the day, 2 days after
Yeah,
we
we
came
had
back from break, so I guess we'll know in about a month.
That's right, that was the first time.
But that's, you can't make the schedule.
Sure.
A lot of schools had to change their grade,
Yeah.
Right.
which is what changed the test. They originally had the test on the Monday, and somebody at least said, let's at least have it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So obviously what they're looking for.
We're hoping for rain and cold tomorrow, to tell you the truth, so you
Yeah.
guys don't care.
I think you're gonna get it.
It's supposed to,
Yeah.
And the further you get into the spring, obviously, I think the greater the impact it would have on the results. Negative impact.
Does it make sense? I mean, of course, we don't know, we have no data to look at, but would it make sense to shift the spring break schedule around the test schedule if that had an impact? Or?
That's already been decided for next year,
Right,
already, the
right.
test schedule and the break. So,
But do we,
The state tells us when we're tested,
right.
Sure they do, yeah.
and what is it, the BOCES conglomerate, that gets
Right.
together to decide what the school
I
breaks
was
are.
gonna say, we kinda have to have our
Somebody
breaks when
must have been
everybody does
repping.
because of all these.
And Adams is the rep for us. She's on, the county-wide, district-wide, and makes up those calendars and.
Painesville.
Okay.
That's what I get.
It's very discouraging.
Yeah.
Must be good kids too.
So 7th and 8th grade has the same testing, and the whole school's going through the process that we're trying to formulate where we're going with the training of the Marzano framework. Sue and Lauren and I are talking about meeting with the network team within the school to discuss how we're moving forward with all the training. So we're kind of at the point where we're just researching, looking and figuring out how to do things and do it the best way possible. So the senior class went on a trip to Florida, and Stephanie Stone is the advisor, said the trip was wonderful, the kids were great. The tour person that worked with our group told Steph it was probably the best behaved, well-behaved kids they've had come, so they did a really nice job and had a good time. They took the train down, slept on the way down, and they took the train back, probably slept on the way back, and we're probably up between, A to Z. The community service day, I think, went over pretty well. They came back with 4 or 5 bags of garbage from the trail that they picked up at. We've got a thank you from the cemetery people. It's probably the first time in many years that the Russell Cemetery has actually been cleaned to the extent that it was raked and bagged up. The Maplewood people invited us back anytime. Very impressed with the junior high stage band went and the Cinderella, and they were quite delighted with the performance of all the kids. The blood drive was very successful, according to Tamara, and one of the things that we did guardian came in and said, well, how come the community can't come? And I said, I don't know, I thought it was filled with kids, but we realized that from 11 to 1, we could open it up, so we put the telephone call out, and community members did come in
Oh, good.
and donate blood that day as well. So it was a good, community service. The student government went to Save a Lot, collected, perishable, or non-perishable items for the pantry for a couple hours, and came back with a donation from Save a Lot, plus some, I don't think that one was as successful as some of the others, but it still was worth the effort, I believe. So I think overall the day was pretty good. I'm still disappointed with some of the kids who do not come, and,
Do they just?
don't know
not
how
come
I'm
to
gonna work
school?
on that part still. What?
Did they just not come to school that day?
Yeah, I had a couple 10th graders who I think should be the leaders of the class, whose parents allowed them to stay home instead of make them come, and that bothers me.
Yeah.
And as we're going through, scholarships the other day with the committee that we had on that Friday, community service is one of the things that schools are looking for, and you have to have done it to be eligible for some of the things. So if, in fact, one of the girls that's a senior, her community service was last year's trip, to Mr. Holt's house, helping rake and, do lawn work, and that was truly her only community service. So I think it's beneficial for our kids to be doing this and experiencing it. I came across something as I was hoeing out the other day that was, they did this 10, 12 years ago. This isn't a new idea. This is something that used to be and then it kind of died away, and we're bringing it back. So it's not a new concept. They used to have a day where they go to Russell and do activities Russell, and they had a day they went to Edwards and did a day in Edwards. So I think that we just need to keep being persistent with the importance of it. I've been working on the master schedule, got it pretty much done for next year, just a few things to still work out, and Cinderella is 2 weeks from now. We're on 10 more practices and we're on stage. On the 28th, it's at 7 o'clock, and on the 29th, it's at 5:30, so that's it for me. What's that?
Are they prepared?
Well, they just had a week and a couple days off, and we got through the practice today. We had actually SUNY Potsdam, a guy named Dan came over who was a vocal teacher and worked with our boys and then worked with our girls and gave them clues on their singing. And we have a girl coming tomorrow and Wednesday who's helping us with the lighting, getting the lighting done. And this is through the after school program that they're coming in, and helping us out. And they're more than willing to come in. So she's gonna work on the lighting, and things are coming together good. And all of a sudden we've got kids asking to be on stage crew too. And at the beginning, trying to get kids involved was a little bit of a challenge, but I'm hoping that the interest that's generated this year will continue, through to next year and build from here. So we certainly have a lot of staff helping. Diane Rice has been a tremendous volunteer for us. Mike Galt has made the carriage with the woodworking class that he has and the metal groups that he had. Terry's group is videotaping a segment for us that we're going to be using, and art classes have been making things. It's really, we've been trying to really pull a lot of people in and make it a true community project, basically. And we have these tremendous horse heads that Anissa Hotelling's grandmother made that are just, when you see them, you'll think, wow, that was really creative on her part. So it's been, Ashley I've been doing the sets. Her sister's been here, her brother's been here. Everybody's been helping. It's been really fun.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Well, that's even from down in Syracuse. But Mrs. Hotelling's Anissa's grandmother came and painted, and the whole Hotelling family was sitting in there painting last week, so it's been good.
That's what the school's supposed to be like.
Yeah. It's great.
8 weeks ago, I had mentioned about a community grant that we got through Senator Ritchie's office. So we sat down together and had Northern Music come in and give us estimates to update and improve our sound systems, both for Michelle what she needed for the play, and John, and we just get them all people together, and the poor guy at Northern Music, I think we had him do 5 quotes. So, could you, yeah.
We checked some other places too, like a New York City vendor, and his prices were better, and we went back to Northern Music and told them, well, this is what we get, and we don't like, we'd rather deal local,
Mhm.
and that's what, and they looked back again and figured out a better price and came back with us, and so I think that that's been good to go local.
It is.
They also did our original sound system, so they know our system, they know it's compatible, they know what,
And
so
where
it's just
do
positive.
they take the old equipment in on trade, or they obsolete it?
Some of it's totally,
Not- not-
right, obviously, and we don't even have an MP3 player, and, I mean, we're really behind in times.
Yeah.
But they wanted to do a lot more, their quote came above 20,000, I said, no, you have to cut a few things. So we did get it down to mid 15, and we'll be paying some of the hands-on work through Northern to the district, a little bit. So that was done and turned in. Some people saw in the Watertown Times last week the article that talked about grants available to school systems. Well, let's not hold our breath. I read through the grant, I showed it to Carol tonight, it's probably 60-some pages. And after reading it and going through it, I'm not even sure that we're eligible to apply. So I have called over to BOCES to talk to them, but the grant has to be, any questions you have to be to the state by April 30th. Will be answered the week of May 7th, and the grant is due June 6th. So it didn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense, the things it said that you could apply for, so we're waiting to see. But if we can, we will. But at this point, I didn't see anything there that we would be able to use. A couple weeks ago, maybe the last board meeting, or maybe before, I brought up the incident where we had a bus driver stop a bus, late bus, allow a child to get off the bus, walk to the back of the bus, and go to the bathroom.
I don't remember it
Oh,
either.
I don't think we've
No,
talked about
because
it.
I didn't talk.
Oh,
Yes.
Well, anyway, it all worked out okay, as far as with the parent and everything. I went through the school legal service and everything, because obviously there's a lot of implications here.
Right.
There are no policies anywhere in New York State or other states regarding this. However, one of the things that we have now found under state regulations, it prohibits a driver to let a child off a bus unless it is their regular drop-off stop and authorized by a supervisor. It is not the recommendation of the school attorney or of the Erie BOCES attorneys to allow children off to go to the bathroom. So it brings us back to the same old thing, what do we do? Because it's happened twice this year. The other thing that they suggest is let the child go to 7-Eleven to go to Bethel McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just drove by
The
myself.
other thing
Yeah.
that we run into, and that's why I'm bringing this here, is obviously if you go into somebody's house, we don't know who's in the house.
Right.
If you have a child take another child in, because the driver can't leave the bus, then we're also liable.
Mhm.
If the child were to go in the home and have something happen to them, even if they tripped and fell.
Right.
Obviously, Frank and I were laughing about this because this must have happened for years.
Right.
That people have to go to the bathroom once they get on the bus.
Some bus drivers
So-
don't.
Right, so I don't know, Tom, what you have found or whatever, but,
We always, you try to, if it was a small child, you try to have an older one step off with them, because like you said, you can't get off the bus.
right,
And I mean, that's what we've done for years, but I know times are changing, so.
and that's where I need to take the direction from the board. We can write a policy, which,
What do you do, Rick?
I wouldn't, but, I don't think Ken has any.
no one has anything in it.
Nobody does, no.
I've heard
Well,
that. And because it's happened twice this year, just, flukes, anomalies, whatever.
I know, when we get to the other school, the kids kind of flock to the woods, but, that's on the coach.
Yeah.
What if the teacher made sure they went to the bathroom before they, well, I know that's
I think
really
they
hard.
tell them to do that, or especially in elementary ends.
Well, to tell the truth, it's the after-school program, and the bathrooms are right there, and the kids wait in line for the buses to come at least 4 or 5 minutes.
So they got plenty of
So
time.
there's plenty of time for them to go use the bathroom.
My concern with one student in particular, it was more than me, because of the age and this and that, but when I heard that they actually stopped and the child went all the way to the back of the bus, stood there, you know, we're plain view, and if somebody had come down and around, the bus was not completely off the road, so every angle, this was an issue.
So maybe you ought to announce it down there.
At this point, they do not let anybody off their bus, but then we run into the other, you know, hygiene problems, you know, I'm sure if you're talking about a little child, they're gonna wipe themselves, I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, because they're not masked usually.
Right.
With older kids, and granted, it was a 4th grader, it wasn't, you know, but it was a child who, as Michelle said, stood at that line for, and was on the bus less than 15 minutes.
Yes. It's different light on it.
Yeah. But you know, I'm throwing it out here because I guess it had happened one other time earlier in the year, and I was not aware of that time, I was the second. So.
Be one thing if there was a medical necessity of those.
Right.
But what we're doing then is, the board has, we have to come up with a policy that states something like that.
Right.
Yeah. It can't just be on Frank's, well, yeah, if they're sick, that, or, you know, because it comes back from Frank.
Right.
That's, and truly it's been, you know, weeks trying to even come up with an answer.
No other schools have any type of policy that you can.
No, it was kind of, I mean, it was funny in a sense, because I thought, well, we can't be the only school, but as we researched it, there are no policies.
And is it on purpose, there isn't?
Well, the woman from Erie Bosa's basically said to me,
Right.
you're taking a risk.
Right.
If you let them on or if you don't. And
Right.
let them off or
You're
either way, you're taking
damned
a
if you do,
risk.
you're damned if you
Yes.
don't.
Right.
And she said that's probably why, because she was, it's the BOCES person we go through
Right.
for all our policies. She said, well, of course there's a policy. That's right back, I can't find it yet. I still haven't found it.
Yeah.
So it was, I mean, kind of amusing, but then when she talked to legal services down there, I mean, they
Right.
basically said the same thing. There was a situation where they allowed a child to get off a bus to go into a 7-Eleven. The child actually robbed the 7-Eleven. Got back on the school bus. So, I have it on here, I didn't make it up.
At least the getaway driver, so.
It seems like you can't possibly believe some of those things.
I know.
I have the case ready. So,
So would that be something
Well,
that
obviously with the
policy
fourth grade.
committee,
yeah.
I would think.
would that be something like that our policy committee would work on?
Or a new committee that we're gonna have to start getting, I mean,
Right.
Just a thought, policies are great, but if you write them, you really gotta stick to them.
Yeah.
And there's gotta be.
well, right now I feel like we're leaving drivers hanging.
Yeah.
The possibility of them saying.
I don't
they
think
do,
about nothing
and
but-
They don't.
One does it, one does, you know.
That's true, if it becomes a judgment call, and then you don't wanna put them in that position, so you need a policy, but I think you need to be, I don't know. it's-
Cautious.
Yeah, very
Well,
cautious.
and that's where, you know, when we were discussing it, and I was talking to Eddie Silver, and I said, well, you know, you let them go into somebody's house, got preserved, you don't know who's in there, you don't know, you know, he's like, oh, I didn't even think of that. You know, he was thinking the liability of somebody tripping or falling, or,
Right.
you know. Or they, you know, walk past someone that's cooking and having food allergy. I mean, there's so many bizarre things today that you don't.
When they take off,
Yeah.
depends on the fourth grader.
Right.
Yeah.
Frank, that
Fire
consultant
hazard,
for
clean
us,
up, get on the bus, and
give us a.
He had no idea either.
No idea? You gotta be able to think that out.
Well, he would certainly sit and, you know, ponder, but he was, because he was like, oh, after 24 years, I've never had this before. Like, that's why he was kind of perplexed too.
I don't think if it was medical necessity, that would be one thing if you got it from the parents. But I think I'd put a poster up wherever they get on the bus and, you know, just remind them again
Yep.
and tell them that, you know, after so many times, you're not gonna get off the bus anymore.
See, that was my concern on the second time, that it would be like wildflower.
Right.
It wasn't that great to pull the bus over and have,
Yeah.
you know, hooting and hollering as the person's out there.
Yeah. It's just,
It's one thing now that it's light out, I mean, in the wintertime, it's really dangerous to.
Yeah.
Well, even too, as, and we know there's places you can't pull a bus off the road completely.
Right.
And that's my biggest, I mean, my first concern is that we travel all the way back behind us. Stay in the middle.
Make them wear the little orange
Well,
vest.
not only that, with your newer buses, the exhaust is so hot back here, they can really get burned bad.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So is that your recommendation, see what Frank can pull together?
A lot of burden on you.
Well, you folks ultimately have to approve it.
Yeah.
Right. But I know that, like, when I said, well, do you want to be the person that authorizes this? He said, now's the chance.
Yeah, right.
So I'm sure that, you know, he's gonna be looking for a board decision.
Sure.
And like I said, thank goodness that parent had absolutely no problems with it. But there would have been, you know.
Somebody
A
raised
different
them,
parent
probably
would have
done,
gone.
somebody transferred up here.
Yeah, right.
No? Very nice.
Right.
On a text.
Yep.
Okay. Two things, positives. Walmart had contacted our nurse's office and they are going to be helping Missy do screening for eye screening. They're bringing one of their machines up with their ophthalmology, department.
Yeah.
And because Missy's got to do all of the grades, they're gonna set up side by side and just run through everyone. It's not, and we did do this last year, it's not to get people to go buy their glasses at Walmart. They have to do so much community service, and then they reached out to our district again. Because they knew we were in a district in need, so that was a very positive.
Which, is it Walmart in general that does it?
Yes,
So it's not a specific store?
that I don't know, but Missy said it was the same person that contacted her last year, and it's somebody who has roots in the community too, though, so they get, you know, that's why they probably chose us again. But it was very helpful last year to the district, so.
What is happening about our health center? I mean, anything?
At this point, absolutely nothing.
I reached out to Karen Merchant also, and, I don't know if she was out of the office for a while, and I was not last week, but they've been restructuring that whole physician practice management, so.
I did speak to her again, I spoke to her last week, and she emailed the gentleman that I told you, Brent Faber, and he hasn't gotten back to her. So she said, well, I guess if I don't hear from him in a week or two, I'll try again. And I said, in a week or two, we're almost done the school year.
Right.
And, I mean, she can't help, he's not responding back. And she said she's not sure that he's even still doing special initiatives.
Yeah, I don't know if he's.
So we're truly next, you know, gonna have to figure out, do we want a clinic part-time or no clinic? And that's what it might come down to.
I had spoke to Dr. Ely about it. You might want to call him, because he said he would work with the school district. I don't know what that meant.
It has to be a hospital through the,
Oh, okay. That eliminates that.
it has, because it goes through, state health department, and there's hundreds and hundreds of pages of regulations, so it can't be one person.
I think isn't he on the board there, possibly?
No, but he's the chief of, medical staff at United Helpers, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whether it's something through that association or something, I'm not sure.
Well, hopefully that's back.
Right.
I'll keep working on it.
Right. The other good, Lori Brewer gave me this today. She was contacted by, the physical therapy services at Canton Potsdam Hospital and Clarkson. And they want to come in and do a screening on any athlete that's interested, basically through a contract with the families. It's called functional movement, and they do pre-screening to help prevent injuries. So they might give particular, you know, exercises or something for somebody to possibly not injure themselves. But it's totally free, they would come in, do all of our athletes. So again, another positive community service. So she just gave this today and I read through it, it sounds great. And other districts have already been involved, so. The forum survey we had talked about, and we talked about doing a survey on the way out of, vote, so I guess we're gonna have some time tonight. Just happen to bring mine later, to see what it is we wanna do in a survey. What type of survey do we wanna create? And I'll give you the three areas. This, David, do you have any knowledge of which page it's on? Michelle, can you see if you could find when we did this, when it was on our minutes, on your minutes? Okay, it's, the first one is list things that we feel are positive that this school has to offer, that we should be proud and there's. Well, the next, what are things that we would like to see changed or altered to help improve our district? Page 12, so I guess, and then, are there any ideas you'd like to see implemented to add to the district, and then there are 12. Some of the things, it's hard to know what exactly they mean totally, because all that we got for wording is what's on here, so it doesn't give a lot more description with certain things.
What do they mean rearranging transportation?
That's what I said, that's one of the ones I don't know exactly. I know that there was some discussion that night by someone at one of the tables about like pre-K transportation. Somebody wanted to look at it going back to, you get your choice AM, PM, but what we ended up switching it to was by geographic region, you know, just made it the most practical.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was that in particular, but there was 2 comments regarding transportation.
Probably kids that have a long bus ride.
Don't we have, or what haven't we shortened how many sports teams that we have? I mean, we don't have any JV, doesn't, I mean, on some of the sports,
Somebody do, right?
but there's some of them just modified and they go varsity, correct? So
Right.
eliminated,
Mm-hmm.
so.
There was, the other thing that I know that someone had asked and recommended, I'm not sure which page it's on, they wanted transportation provided to all athletes after practice.
Oh, right, yeah.
That was one of the recommendations or requests.
It'd be nice to be able to do that.
The good old days.
Yeah. Any idea what?
It was
if-
March 13th was the day we had it.
Was the forum?
The forum was on March 13th, so I asked it then after, like, the 15th or March. 15th. Yeah, on the 15th sometime. If it came through us.
Was there any specifics on how they wanted to use the building and grounds?
Here's, like that.
Anything else that?
Again, that came back to, so that there was more public availability and use of buildings and grounds and not have to pay, not, and I think some of that hit because of contingency. And that's, it's not as always easy, but again, I wasn't there, so I can't answer for all of them. There might have been more discussion on it.
Yeah,
I think, positive school spirit is something that would, the whole thing that Michelle's been working on for the last couple of years with the homecoming events. I think that's, been helpful for that.
Like what she was talking earlier, taking the kids out, cleaning up cemeteries and
Mhm.
trails or whatever, to me, that is very good.
I guess I don't know what, improved technology, there are probably a lot of ways we could do that. I'm wondering if there was something specific that, but we don't know that, do we? We don't know the details.
Well, this extracurricular and
And maybe that's what we need to do, to look forward to is how we can, things that they have here, we can, talk about the things that we are doing. Cause a lot of people may have them here, but they may not be aware of what we do and what we plan on doing. Maybe that's something we can get in the newsletter at some point.
Does anybody ever use the suggestion box on our webpage?
That was for,
Is it just for budget? Continue to educate a diverse population of students.
We have to get back to something.
Yeah, we only have what we have.
Some of these are pretty big.
Yeah.
A little contradictory, since support programs is positive,
Right.
improve it by increasing skills.
well, again, that's where you have different groups.
Committees, yeah.
Obviously.
On healthier lunches and breakfast, what have you were working with that earlier. I mean, was something to do with, I guess, what kind of, I don't know how to word that. You and Carol had talked about what or you had seen with lunches, and you were doing something.
Well, Randy's supposed to be getting us hooked up with something to do with audit, that hasn't
Okay.
happened yet.
We're going down that road right now.
All right.
Folks are hopefully
We're not letting it sit, we are working on it.
We have a goal.
it's in the works, there's a group that does that kind of thing, and we're just getting their schedule. Come up here, is a challenge.
There are two comments on the back about having a school garden. And I know that people do that, I see it on the news once in a while, I just don't know how, I guess, I don't know the
He did have
logistics of how, yeah.
Mike had one, and I think he come out during the summer and took care of himself on his own
Well,
time.
yeah, that would be the thing, you'd have to have somebody to tend to it, but then if nobody's here to get the benefits of it in the summer,
Right, it's
I thought it would be kind of a nice idea, if you had BOCES build a greenhouse up there, the excess heat you had off the chip boiler, and they could grow stuff.
Those are already one of the things that we had looked into when they were first building it,
Yeah.
but it was nixed. I'm not really sure that, even talked about putting it on the roof
Right,
of the
yes.
building and using solar panels, but that was also, and I don't know why, I'm not sure.
What Bill told me years ago was that you had to have an architect do all the designs, and they can only do so much of it, or there's a lot
Yes, that is
of
true.
paperwork involved on it.
We've got a cute little greenhouse out there right now, all sorts of stuff started. I went around the end of the building the other day and it's out there.
I'm sure you're sucking the exhaust out of that.
Yes.
I hate to bring this up, because that's one of the other negatives, let's focus on liability. Wouldn't that be a state health issue if they'd have to inspect anything that went into a school lunch program?
For the less focus on liability, I know what that was in reference to. And it went back to a parent who wanted their child to be able to play sports in another district. And in order to do that, you would have to bus them. And the parent, obviously, it would be an expense to the district. And they didn't feel that we should worry about those issues.
they don't have a choice.
Yes, I'm sorry, yes, your question would be corrected. I'm just saying, but that's where people, I mean, it's just like the same thing with the bathroom. 10 years ago, we wouldn't be sitting there having this conversation. If you let somebody run into John's house and,
Right,
Yeah.
you know, we'd all be like, oh, yeah, we know John.
yeah.
But we do have to worry about those things. But I know that there was several actually people interested in looking at trying to do something with garden.
Mhm.
One of the things that came up afterwards, so you can't, I mean, all of those things are against regulation.
Right.
It's almost fresh vegetables or not.
Right.
But I do know that a lot of ones, I get magazines in the mail that, of course, then again, you gotta come up with the money, but they're just a steel frame,
Yeah.
look plastic over it, and if we had the money, you could put it up close to that. It wouldn't be that much, put a heater out in there.
And they do keep pushing that, the garden share and stuff. But I don't know what the regulations are when you talk about, well, how can you bring them into the school? How can you know that they're safe?
Kathy has some of that
Yeah.
stuff.
So I didn't know how
Very
much.
particular.
Yeah,
I mean, a great personal level, I look at, stuff that I know, but I'm not sure what it's
right.
public institutions.
Mhm.
There was a gentleman come up to my place, and I give him Kathy's name and phone number, and he's in that co-op, and he produces in the greenhouse at his house year-round certain vegetables, and I said, just call her and talk to her, you know, it's all that she might be able to use.
Mhm.
Which probably makes a difference in money, I mean, what they,
Yeah.
Was he wanted to sell it, you mean,
yeah,
to her?
they're in that co-op at Potsdam or something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I know Burlington Hospital, and you go down there and it is all farms and all this, it's all fresh vegetables throughout the whole hospital, which is nice.
They also have
They have a
a
room.
greenhouse on their roof.
Nice cafeteria there.
Cool.
I watched them out there. Cutting it.
So where do we wanna go with, what's that,
I
Gus?
say, so, Tom, here's the way to do it.
That's why I'm seeing what ideas you folks have for one.
Well, if they just wanna go down through the list and hit each one, rearranging transportation. We-
It's almost like you could group them into a couple different groups. You got stuff about sports, you got a couple things about transportation, you've got
Three different
comments
things
about
about lunches.
communication, expectations, you got some curriculum things, you got lunch thing.
Yeah.
Right.
uh,
The survey has to be quick and easy,
Yeah,
she's saying.
sure does.
for the-
Right.
Yeah. So we're talking about doing an exit survey for this, or?
That's what, when I brought this up and I asked you folks to look at it and consider, it was said, do an exit survey and see what the community wants us to work on.
Yeah, the survey, we can pay the budget for it.
Yes, but when I looked at it, then I said, okay, so what's this exit survey?
Because we're gonna have another forum too then, right? So do we need to do both, or can the other forum that we're gonna have be a continuation?
Well, that was what I had said, we want to have another forum to delve further into what is it of these things. I mean, I kept the sheets that were written on, but there isn't a lot of information if you weren't, you know,
Right.
able to be heard in the conversation.
Rearranging transportation, basically you're just doing with your what needs you have throughout the district. I mean, it's push by need, isn't it, more than anything else?
And there's probably some items you could cross right off the list that you really don't have a lot of control over.
Right.
I know that one of the things that always comes up every year about transportation is when our buses leave here in the afternoon, some of the buses have 10 kids on them. And it's always brought up, you know, why can't you consolidate afternoon runs?
Time.
Well, I know that.
But you might have one kid here and it might be 20 miles to the next kid and then,
Right.
5 the other way and,
But that's where I don't know if it was Mandy or one of you said maybe we need to address some of these things in newsletters. To
Right.
explain that to people, that even though you haven't seen 10 kids, they might
Right.
have, you know.
And when you're
many
sitting
miles.
out there, you don't know how many are gonna get on the bus.
Right, you can't
You
assume a
can't-
kid is not
right,
going to
you
drive
can't.
that night.
Well, you also, if you rearrange, because we looked at doing this.
Right.
And if you rearrange transportation, then you have to not do it in between sports seasons. Then if there's rain and they cancel a practice, then you're gonna have more people on, you know.
Yeah.
And that was, we did for like a 3-week study, every night went out and counted every bus to see how many kids were on each of the buses.
Mhm.
And it varied so greatly because of sports and practices and,
Yeah.
you know.
well, nobody wants their kid on the bus for 2 hours anyways, right at supper time, so.
Right.
I mean, if you cut down, then you're gonna have the parents that do
these things, Randy's right, we can just go down the list. Community swimming brought back, that could be in the newsletter notifying what our plans are for next year. Financial training, we'll let them know what is state mandates for financial training and what everybody has
What they're
to
talking
do.
about for that, for students. financial
Oh,
training.
I'm moving on that one.
That is one of the ones,
Yeah,
you know, to
okay,
have some type
students.
of finance class for students before they can graduate.
Right.
Certain districts in this
Take a seat.
county do have that as they've upped their credits they need for graduation, to add a finance course. That is what that's referred to.
And then again, well, we could talk about the swimming and explain how we've already addressed the transportation and looked at, possible ways of consolidating some of that, and at this point, it's not something that's feasible.
After that, it's on two different.
Yes,
transportation.
yeah.
You can have a statement around curriculum, you know, they sort of offer more college classes, technology, life skills, money management.
Yeah,
You know, you can promote that into
right,
curriculum thoughts and
yeah.
some of the things that we're trying to do.
How are you gonna put this information into
Would it be like
a survey question, right? Is it-
Well, I don't know, I mean,
Is that what?
That came from one of you folks, I don't remember who said do a survey question, or a survey questionnaire after.
Right.
I didn't know
I'm
where
just
you
not
were,
sure
that's why
how
I'm
this-
coming back.
How you're gonna be able to form a,
sure,
you know,
yeah.
a question.
This is more like,
There's so much information.
something you want to respond to
Yeah.
versus create a question.
That's what the other thing I came up with, you know, you take these 12 things and say, okay, prioritize these 1 through 12, and how many people will serve on the committee for any of them? You know, it's
Yeah, you
truly
can do
the
that too,
only-
yeah.
Right.
Or do you want to ask the same 3 questions and just gather more information?
Right, say like, okay, how could we improve technology? What specific, like it just says improve technology, well, how would we?
But I'm thinking if you presented 12 questions to them,
Right,
you're probably not gonna get any of
Right.
them out.
yeah,
Right, I mean,
On a survey, not
if
really.
you're more than 2 or 3 questions,
Yeah.
right.
I
I'm not taking the time.
I'm thinking.
From a survey perspective, probably the best you could do is maybe ask the 3 same questions again, like somebody said, and see if anybody has anything more to add, or see what comes up as some of the leading
Right.
items, to help you kind of prioritize what they feel is important.
And we can take out the things that we feel that we can explain better and put that in the newsletter. And then the other things that we want to work on, we can put, into the second forum. And we'll have more information, and we'll have the information from this one and from the survey. And then the forum will have kind of
Already have a
something
framework.
to work on. And the things we feel that we can give more information on, we can put in the newsletter. Especially the new AP courses and those kind of
AP
things
courses, swimming.
that we're gonna bring back or improve.
I mean, I'm not trying to be a naysayer here. If you're putting out a survey, you're asking a couple questions, you're not gonna get in-depth paragraphs.
No,
So I feel like we're gonna do the same thing again.
right,
A couple of
And it
words
could
that
be
don't tell
several
us.
people answering the same
Right.
question.
But
at
Right.
one time.
Even with some of these things, I
Kind of
don't
open
really
for
know if they all.
interpretation, yeah,
Yes.
I mean, well, I'm reading it, it might be different from what's intended.
right,
But couldn't you put out what we've already, you know, you've done, you've went to other school districts trying to get more courses that way, you've added courses here next year. We did something with swim as far as doing that, and depending on the budget, how much you can open up the buildings and grounds. I mean,
And that's what, but I guess I wanted to make sure with some of the things they're saying, that we're trying to hit some of the areas they want hit.
mhm.
But I don't know how to do that, you know what I mean?
yeah.
With what you're doing.
I guess the question is, what do we wanna get from the survey? What information?
Question? Place to start. Well, we're trying to make sure, obviously, that we are relatively in line with what the district
I guess I'm just me, I'm not really that much in favor of a survey. I'd rather address it in another, forum. Just take the things that we could get more information. Like Mandy said, address the positive, the things that we're already working on, the AP courses, the swimming, in the newsletter, and, at the other forum, then maybe get more in-depth information about the things that they would like to
That
see
would be
happen.
Was that one, we had a board meeting that night, and there was a bunch of people in the cafeteria voicing their opinions?
We had a budget meeting that night.
Yes, that's good night.
Well, I might, and the person, whoever headed it, just kind of telling the people that do show up what we are doing as a school, and go from there. See if there's any other opinions out there that would, within the budget restraints that we could do.
Right, and say, like at the last forum, somebody had a suggestion of improving technology. Could you give us some ideas of how would you like to see us improve technology? Just get more specifics?
I personally think the school has done a lot for quite a few years. I mean, they're always doing something to upgrade the computers and the lines throughout the school, and
But somebody might have some ideas out there that we haven't thought of yet.
Yeah.
And
Just a thought, what we have here is kind of a list of what is important to some people. I mean,
The groups that
the
came,
group was here.
there was,
These are things that are important to them, so given that they were the ones that took the time to participate, you've got some things that they'd like to learn more about, basically. So you pick it apart in the next 3 or 4 newsletters and say, okay, there's some things that kind of reoccur here. Like in one newsletter, we can talk about what we're doing curriculum-wise, which talks about offering more college courses, educated diverse population, guidance preparation, improving technology, things like that. You can kind of address all that in one, in this newsletter, we're kind of address this topic. And another one, you could talk about transportation, because obviously transportation is important, something I think that we, and discuss, these are the things that we do in transportation, and how we do it, help create an understanding.
Right.
There's a PE thing, downsides PE teachers, there's often sports reductions, and some people like our sports programs. So in general, we can say what we're doing around the sports programs, how we, and each month that the newsletter comes up, pick a topic that kind of gets at these items to communicate to the community. And in the end, we're achieving one of the goals, which is communication.
Right.
And the forum itself.
And you don't have to do it all in one blah here, because
Right.
that's a great Western novel, and no one wants to.
There you
You
go.
don't have time for that. But you can take it,
Exactly.
and you can pick a subject to put in the next newsletter, and you could explain what we're doing. If you have any more ideas, thoughts, suggestions, please send them to,
Feedback, right.
please see a member of the Board of Education or contact, Sue Kelly, and at least we've got the information, we're digesting it, we're getting it back to the community as a whole, and trying to solicit some participation from the rest of the community. This is what a small segment of the community said that was important to them. Take it out to the rest of the community, see what the reaction is,
Right.
see if they have any ideas.
Well, Linda, she was there that one board meeting and told us about all the different, she had a slideshow, which was very interesting. Maybe she could write up an article and put in it about all the college courses or whatever she does to get kids prepared.
Get that information, get that information out, but don't do it all at once.
Actually, all the kids would have just taken home a pamphlet that has every course that's offered, grades 8, 9 through 12, for course selection. That just went home.
And then you
Because
could,
you just been through that process.
and that's something you could mention in the newsletter, because
People need to read what goes home as
Yeah.
part of
But
it, because every course.
if it's in the
offered is
newsletter,
in
then
that-
it gets
is
out
in
to
that
those
paper.
that aren't parents.
Yeah.
And who may come and say, well, why are you doing this? And and they're the ones that have to vote too.
At the time.
so do we want to form a community
I told her this time the parent had to sign it and get it and bring it back.
Very good
council
move,
board?
very good.
Sure. I don't know how many.
Well,
I mean, we could,
I mean, it's supposed to be a board focused,
Mhm.
Right.
and mean, it's just like the policy committee.
Not trying to make extra work for anybody, no, but then, I don't know, I can't answer the question specifically. We certainly can help breaking things down a little bit. Um, Some of it's, a lot of it's communication, letting people know what it is we do, what it is we offer. And then, without trying to add extra work to what we're already doing, kind of taking maybe something out and adding this in, you know, a substitution type of situation where you're not creating extra work, but you're communicating back to the district on these topics.
I would be on a committee for that. And I like the idea of every newsletter
Having it.
taking a certain area, because if it's a small amount, then people will take the time to read it. If you got 3 pages, it's not gonna get read.
And if you title it like, you know, based on a recent
Right,
community forum we had,
things you are interested in, or,
Next.
you know,
over the next, course of the next year, we're gonna address these things that
right.
you indicated are important to understand, and here's our attempt at trying to clearly communicate these things back to the district.
I think that's important. I think that would be good to do. As far as working up for the next forum, I don't know if you take those areas that we've decided we're gonna break up and put into the newsletter, and then take those same core areas, and maybe at the next forum, people who are interested in this core area, let's elaborate on what you said. And they can go to that area, and people who wanted this part on the forum can go to this area that they're interested in. And follow through a little more on, all right, we need to be more specific on what you meant by this. And go that way with it.
There's some topics like the healthier lunches or the school garden that, you know, obviously the board would have to be involved in, is finding different solutions, different ideas.
I know, maybe we could do the garden.
Yeah.
Every once or twice a month anyway, so let's go work in the garden for a little while.
You bring the rototiller.
Okay.
But I guess probably that's where you would start, would be categorizing these, and what you wanna, what seems to be the most prevalent, and maybe put that in the next newsletter. And then we can decide whether we wanna do another forum. And maybe at that point, we'll have had these areas categorized, and we can put out what we're thinking about doing at the forum.
So Mandy, is anybody else interested?
Oh.
All right, the
Well,
big
we did
question.
find-
Okay.
We did find from working the budget committee and just sitting down and having informal conversation
Right.
was very informative to the board members to find, you know, to talk with the administration and see why we do this and why we do that. So this would kind of create a situation for the board to informally come and talk to us about whatever your topic is, so that we can fill you in on, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it. That might go a lot farther than anything else, communicating that way.
When is the next newsletter, Kay?
Do it in a couple days.
I was gonna say next week.
Obviously, we're not gonna catch that one.
I got my warning on the 11th, so it's probably the 18th that it's due.
Okay.
Is it worth, is it premature to just
No, I put my own.
put a word in? We're working on,
Right.
you give some information, and we're working on a response to the community on these things that they've shown were important to them, and
All right,
look forward to seeing this in future newsletters or something, just to,
right.
so let them know we've seen it, we got it, we're digesting it, we're gonna respond to it.
So we're
And we
gonna
can have
add a
more
board
discussion.
section to the newsletter, is that the idea?
I don't know if it's a board section.
Is it,
Community section.
community section,
Community,
from the board, do we know?
community issues, whatever.
Would be nice if they just got more detail on their suggestions, what they want.
Well, that would be however the next forum is set up.
And
I'll
hopefully,
have to-
maybe by doing this, you can get some people to come back and say, well,
Right.
just on this, I got an idea, a specific question or specific input, you know, start getting that back and forth, you know.
Yeah.
with this room.
Because were we thinking about having another community forum where we would be involved instead of only having the facilitator?
I
Or,
hadn't gone, I mean, I didn't have any, we wanted to see what came out of it, what, you know, where we were going to go. I think that the understanding for some of it would be that there would be groups formed to look at and to try to do some of these things. That's, I don't want people to feel like that they're just being told, we do this, we do this, we do this, thanks for your suggestion.
Right, sure.
So that's, you know, so maybe we pose some other questions in that.
How about like a Saturday morning coffee hour or something? That would be an informal talking, bringing the community in. Informal, and not everybody obviously can be there, you know? Have them every so often, open them up, and people that wanna show up, and if they don't, they don't. So it becomes more of an informal, ongoing.
Coffee with the board.
and have Rodney come and play his guitar?
Who? Rodney?
Sorry.
Well, wake up music.
Coffee and guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can't be formal stuff.
Right.
No.
That's a good idea. It's Saturday morning.
Y'all can't do it, so, you know, like the film.
Rotate with a couple each one, you know, so, you know, this is our month to do it, and do it with two people, and the next month is something. Nine of us, so that's, yeah, let's see, number 12 months.
Well, they're early nine too.
Yes.
That's all I had, just to ask.
I would support that.
Did we get anywhere with that?
Well, for now-
Jerry Green
Yeah. well,
volunteered,
I-
and that's gonna happen if, yeah, they're.
Do you do anything from the board in newsletters? I mean, is the board newsletter?
No.
No.
So maybe this is where we, you know, from the president of the board of education, you know, maybe this is where we get a paragraph or whatever, and we write it out. We get the information from the faculty, the staff, and it's from the board, it's addressing their questions as they've asked them.
That's a good idea.
And we can, you know, and newsletter comes out also.
No, twice, every 2 months, right?
Okay, awesome. So, you know, so we start working on it, what's the next one, not going.
Yes.
So it would have to be within a couple of days, right? Is that what you said?
We could draft,
From the board.
draft up some language from the board to say this is what we're gonna do moving forward and, kind of set the stage.
That's good. Could you write that? Just write, do a little blurb and email it around and you write well.
My computer does.
Write it, do a little blurb and email it around for us and we'll get it to, what do we need to get that to, Kate, by what date?
Like, the day after
How
tomorrow.
fast is your computer
Go home
work?
tonight, Randy.
Okay,
Little boy.
Good starting place.
Communication, I feel.
Well, I could take a couple of the initiatives we talked about,